lights burn bright. You're blinded now, can't see the fight. Smoke and mirrors, they lead the way. Fooling hearts night after day. Welcome to the show, it's all pretend. The smiles, the lies, the perfect end. The world's a stage, they run the flow. You clap on cue down in the front row. Painted faces, masks of stone. A hollow laugh that chills the bone. Puppets dangle strings unseen. Life's a trick, a cruel machine. Do you see it? Do you feel it? Or just believe it? Welcome to the show, it's all pretend. The smiles, the lies, the perfect end. The world's a stage, they run the flow. You clap on cue down in the front row.
Welcome. Going to talk about Rome in America and citizenship tonight and what exactly that means. So, Rome was not built in a day, and it wasn't built by Romans alone. At the beginning, Roman citizenship was rare, very rare. It was sacred. It meant protection under the Roman law. It meant the right to vote. It meant the right to serve in legions, and it meant an identity. Citizenship was not just paperwork, it was a bond between the individual and the state. But over centuries, Rome changed. It expanded, and it conquered, and it absorbed outsiders. It redefined who counted as a Roman. And eventually in 212 AD, Emperor Caracalla did something unthinkable. He granted Roman citizenship to nearly every free man in the empire. Overnight, what was once exclusive became universal. But what happens when something rare becomes common? What happens when citizenship expands faster than shared identity? And what happens when belonging becomes administrative instead of a culture? Tonight we're going to examine how Rome defined citizenship, how it diluted it, why it expanded it, and what that means for the United States today. Because citizenship is not just a legal category, it is a question of loyalty, identity, and a shared responsibility. And when that definition shifts, the structure of the republic shifts with it. Welcome. This is Breaking the System, episode 36, Citizens and Subjects, Rome, America, and the Meaning of Belonging. So let's go to early Roman Republic. Citizenship meant legal protection under the Roman law. It meant the right to appeal a punishment, your punishment, a family's punishment. It meant participation in assemblies. It meant military obligation. Citizenship required duty. Okay? Roman citizens, they paid taxes. They served in legions. They participated in civic life. Rome's identity was tied to shared sacrifice. conquered peoples were not automatically citizens. Instead, Rome created these layers. You had a full citizen, you had a partial citizen with limited rights, you had Latin rights, and you had allies, which were the soci. This layered system allowed Rome to expand without immediately dissolving its core identity. So, in essence, citizenship was strategic. It was very strategic. By the 1st century BC, Rome had expanded all across Italy. Allied Italian communities, they fought in Roman wars, they paid tribute, they contributed to manpower, but they lacked full citizenship rights. And because of that, resentment grew. And in 91 BC, a social war erupted, or what they call the social war. Rome was forced to confront a reality. You cannot demand loyalty without representation indefinitely. And after brutal conflict, Rome expanded citizenship to Italian allies. And so this was the first major expansion of the Roman identity. Okay? And so it strengthened Rome in the short term, but it also transformed what Rome meant in the long term. Okay? And that's something that we have to be thinking about when we're coming up with laws, when we're passing laws, when we're preparing for the future, right? Not only do we have to think about the short term and how do we fix things or we keep things going, but what are the ramifications on those laws and changes in the long term? Okay? We have to start thinking about both of those because Rome did not. So under the empire, citizenship became a reward for military service. Provincial elites were granted citizenship for their loyalty. Roman identity expanded beyond the Italian peninsula. And by the time of Emperor Caracalla and the Edict of 212 AD, nearly all free men in the empire became citizens. So we have to ask ourselves why. Why were all free men in the empire citizens? Well, many historians believe it done a few things. If everyone was a citizen, it expanded the tax base. So they could, in essence, tax every person that was a citizen. And because you only paid taxes if you were a citizen. It also centralized authority, and it standardized legal systems. Okay? But something changed. When everyone is Roman, who is Roman, right? Was there a cultural change? Did a cultural change happen? So, like, what defines you being a Roman? Just because you're called a Roman, does that by right make you a Roman? And we have to think about that principle in today's terms, because just because you are in a country, whether you're there legally or illegally, does that make you part of that country? Okay? And that's very important. Citizenship shifted from cultural bond to administrative status. Now, the powers that be, the administration, the courts, the political process, right? They control that rather than the culture of the people is making that status up, right? It's a shift. It's a cultural shift. And so the United States, we take a shift there. The United States began differently. American citizenship was rooted in what? Well, we have a constitutional protection or protections, by the Constitution. We have individual liberty. We have representation from the people that we elect. And we have, or we should have, we did have at one time, shared civic ideals. So unlike Rome, America was founded on an idea, not an ethnicity. But the definition of citizenship has evolved. We have naturalization laws. We have birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment. We have expansions of suffrage. We have immigration waves. And so each expansion has reshaped national identity in the United States. And each shift has raised questions. And those questions are, what does it mean to be American? It's a good one. What does it mean? Is citizenship legal? Is it cultural? Or is it ideological? And that's important as well. And can a nation sustain cohesion without a shared identity? And we've talked about this before in that there's so much division that we as a nation, we don't have a shared moral thinking or moral obligation anymore. Okay, so that cohesion has kind of fallen to the wayside. It's there, but it's in the background. Like there's not a lot of people that have commonalities anymore because we focus on so much of the difference instead of the similarities that we share. Okay, and so Rome faced similar tensions, just looked a little different. Okay, so let's go back to Rome. So Rome's later centuries, they saw administrative bloating, they saw military overextension, divided loyalties, economic strain. Does that all sound familiar? Sure does, right? So citizenship alone did not prevent fragmentation. So just because everybody became a citizen, because that's what they done, there was still fragmentation. Fragmentation still happened because of all of those other things. And so by the 4th and 5th century, the empire relied heavily on non-Roman mercenaries. Borders became porous. People could just come and go as they wanted to, as they pleased. And so internal unity weakened because of these things. So citizenship had expanded, but cohesion had not necessarily followed. And the Western Roman Empire fell in 476 AD, not because citizenship expanded alone, but because expansion outpaced institutional strength. The Roman institutions just could not keep up with what being a citizen and having that citizenship demanded from those institutions. Okay? So let's jump back to America. Today, the United States faces debates over things like immigration policy. That's a big one. Border security, birthright citizenship, federal versus state authority. Which one has more authority over the other one, and when and where? And also a civic identity. So the question is not whether inclusion is good or bad. The deeper question is structural. Can a republic maintain stability in the meaning of citizenship shifts, or if the meaning of citizenship shifts faster than civic integration? Okay? So Rome teaches us a few things. That expansion can strengthen a state. It's true, it can. Expansion can also strain identity, and it does. Citizenship without shared duty can become symbolic rather than structural. And I think one is more prolific than the other. One is more important than the other. I think you have to have, instead of something being a symbol, because symbols can change. But once there is a structure put into place, of course structure can change as well, but that structure it's order. You create order out of the chaos, right? Order and chaos piggyback off of each other. It's like the light and the darkness. One can't exist without the other. You have to have chaos to have order. So in the chaos of having citizenship, you have to have structure, okay? From all of these different nationalities, all of these different people, cultures, religions, languages, arts, food, all of these different things that makes not only Rome, but the United States people citizens. There has to be structure within that, okay? So, Rome did not collapse the day citizenship expanded. It collapsed generations later. Structural change is rarely immediate, and we can kind of see the structural changes that took place within the United States. Like, how has the United States changed structurally just within your lifetime or just within your grandparents' lifetime? Okay? There's lots of changes that took place. And so what happens is it accumulates over time. So here's the question, or questions, right? Because we have lots of questions, right? We want you guys to be critical thinkers. We don't want you to just have horse blinders on and not see all of the world, all of reality that's happening around us. Like, you have to answer questions. And you have to ask those questions. Is citizenship in America still a shared covenant of responsibility? And I don't think it is, right? Otherwise, if it was, we would all say that legal immigration is good, and we should want legal immigration. We should all agree that we don't want illegal immigration. We should know who is coming in and out of our country. We should. What do they bring to the table? If we bring in a bunch of people that are, and nothing against poor and downtrodden people, like, everybody deserves a second chance, right? But if all we're bringing in is the poor and downtrodden, or the people that can't speak the native language of that culture or society, which in our case is English, what do they bring to the table? And unfortunately, there's not much, okay? So we have to be very selective in who we're bringing in, because that gives definition to what is an American citizen, okay? We have to share that covenant. We have to share that responsibility, because if you don't think that every other country out there does not want to be America or destroy America, you're mistaken. There are so many people out there that would like a taste of our freedom and freedoms that we have, and there are so many people out there that would love to be the one that destroys and takes down America. We have to have that shared covenant. We have to have that shared responsibility of what makes and what defines a citizen of the United States of America. Or is it this question? Is it becoming an administrative label detached from cultural cohesion? Are we letting politicians label us administratively, and because of that label, there's no longer a cohesion within our culture? And it could be a mixture of both of those questions. Both of those questions are good. We should be asking ourselves both of those questions and coming to an answer that's real and truthful. And that's reality. Because history does not provide easy answers. And a lot of times the easy answer is the easy way out. And that is not the long term, the longevity answer that we need. That's the answer in the short term. That's the answer that might fix things today. But is it going to fix things 10 years from now? Or 50 years from now? Or 100 years from now? And I would love to see America grow into something even bigger and brighter and better 100 years from now. Of course, I'll be dead. But man, wouldn't that be awesome for America to be the beacon of light and freedom and rights for a lot of people around the world? Like, I think that would be awesome. That we are the stepping stones for a lot of other nations to follow. So I don't think it's the easy answers that we need to be looking for. I think it is the hard answers. The answers that maybe provide warnings or signs to us that change needs to happen. We need to take a step back and look at the administrative labeling going on, the detachment from one person in a society to the next, the division that is taking place, and is there a way that we can get back that shared covenant of cohesion, and we can share a responsibility among citizens to love America? Because if you don't love America, if you don't have just a resounding pride within your heart to love the nation that you're in and all of the freedoms that it stands for, I'm asking, why are you here? Why are you here? If you don't want to raise the flag and wrap it around you and embrace what the freedoms of what America is or what it stands for, and I'm not talking politically, I'm talking the idea or the ideas shaped within the Constitution and all the other parchments that our founding fathers wrote out, Declaration, all of those. Like, why are you here, right? So we have to look at the hard answers. We have to look at the warning signs. And the future of any republic depends on how seriously it takes the meaning of belonging. And I think that definition is important, because there are a lot of people that they want to change the definition of things. They want to change the definition to fit the narrative of what is happening within society now. And that can become very, very dangerous, okay? So, how serious do you think it is to find the meaning of belonging in the nation that you should love to live in? This is Breaking the System. You guys have a blessed night. We'll see you guys next time. Appreciate it.